Hey y'all, it's your girl DJ with Plan for Keeps dating app and podcast, and I'm coming at you guys with another solo episode. More of a quickie. I've been on this inner childhood work to dating type stuff, and I guess I'm still on it because this episode kind of links to the other two that I recently did. I will also provide those videos because I think everything coincides together. This video is going to be about discovering your core values in dating through inner child work. I'm just going to dive right into it. Values are ideas and beliefs that are important to a person, meaningful and important to a person, while core values are fundamental beliefs that guide our behaviors. With that being said, in childhood, we develop our beliefs in childhood based on our environment and based on what was taught to us, people around us, how we were treated, all that good stuff. If you're going in the flow with childhood and you go into an adulthood, and if those beliefs that you've developed in childhood go unchecked, you will carry those fundamental beliefs into adulthood, and depending on certain situations, you may act out how a child would because you probably did not do like just a reset on beliefs that you have. Really evaluate things that you've been through, how you've grown from them, create new beliefs, things of that nature. Majority of us don't. A lot of us we're just living, you know what I'm saying? And you have to do that because, again, we'll develop these fundamental beliefs, based on our childhood, based on how we were treated, and then we'll move into adulthood and we're just cruising right along. And then when an issue happens, we react in a certain way, and then after it happens, we're like, damn, why did I react this way? Why was this urge so strong? It's because you have developed this fundamental belief that is guiding your behaviors, that is guiding your reactions. A quick exercise that you can do to discover your core beliefs is simple. Like, we're talking about dating, so specifically in dating, your values could be trust, connection, communication, all of that great stuff, right? And then when you sit down and you do this exercise, you may realize your core beliefs or core values are completely different, because you may have values of, I value connection, I value loyalty, I value peace. But then when you look at your actual relationship in reality, it's the complete opposite. Why is that? It's because your fundamental beliefs are guiding your life, and you have not reset them based on where you're at now. So we're all wired for survival. So if you react or do one thing in childhood to survive it, and then you go into adulthood and you're still dealing with people, subconsciously you're still dealing with them in the same way. And as an adult, consciously, you can have all of these values that you believe you should be carrying out in your relationships, but since your core beliefs, your core values are driving you, it looks totally different. An exercise that you can do, and this is if it's not too painful, because depending on your experience, depending on where you're at in your journey, this could be a painful exercise. Taking a piece of paper and thinking of your childhood, what you can remember anyway, because I know for me, since I've been doing the work, there's a lot of things I didn't remember at all. And since doing the work, things have started to come up for me. I didn't know I was a depressed kid. And sometimes when you're a depressed kid, you suppress memories and you don't remember certain things or a lot of things. I have conversations with my sister and my mom, and they're talking about all of this stuff, and I don't remember that. And they'll look at me like I'm crazy, but I sincerely don't or didn't remember a lot of different things. You can take a sheet of paper down, and I'll think of a few examples. If you were somebody who was bullied, if those memories come up for you, write that down. You think of being bullied as a child. No child wants to be bullied. Usually when you're somebody who is bullied, essentially you seek out acceptance. I know I did. And for me, acceptance was anybody who would take me for just where I was at in the time. And also acceptance was overdoing the things that people said that I was great at. So again, like I mentioned in other episodes, very resourceful. So I would go out of my way and do things for people so they wouldn't see the things that I got picked on for, I got bullied for, but they would see all of these other great things to overshadow that and me not doing the work. So then in my adulthood, what that looked like for me, wanting acceptance was not being able to create boundaries. Wanting acceptance was not wanting to create boundaries, saying yes to things I knew deep down inside I wanted to say no to, giving out time that I knew I couldn't afford to give, doing things I know I didn't want to do, but I felt like it was the only thing, the right thing to do, putting myself in boxes I really didn't want to be put in, but I didn't know how to unbox myself out of that box, and didn't understand the concept that I'm not just one box. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just one title. I'm a multi-dimensional person, and just because I did one thing a certain way for years, that doesn't mean that I can't change. But that's another topic for another day. So I know bullying was a personal one for me. If you were a child who who picked on the person, or maybe if you were the child who saw a lot of fighting, a lot of bickering within your household, and you saw that's how problems were solved, and that's how you carry out your behaviors when you're trying to solve problems. Your core values could be control. I need to be in control. And the only way that when something's going wrong, the only way you know how to find control is to either be violent, say mean or nasty things, put people in their places. But at the end of the day, you're just looking for security. So knowing these things, really thinking of your childhood, and then tying it to actions, right? Then you can also tying it to actions. And then with those actions, like when you're acting like that, what are you really seeking out of those things? For me, bending over backwards, at the end of the day, I just wanted acceptance. I wanted somebody to see me and see me as enough, because I didn't know that I was enough. For the person who's looking for security, you know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to go about it in a way of control, how do you learn to release control? How do you get to the point where you know that there's no true happiness in dating or a relationship when you have to force somebody to choose you? How do we get to that point once we come to the realization of what our core values are and what's driving us in dating, right? I encourage you to get honest about how your childhood was, the things that you've seen. How do you think it ties to some of your behaviors, and does it relate to your values? The things that you say you value in dating, the things that you're putting out and the things that you're accepting, do they align? If they don't, then that means you have work to do. That means you need to clean up some of your beliefs. That means you need to figure out how to clean up those beliefs. How can we start rewiring our brain to change the fundamental beliefs that we've built based on our childhood? There's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can do that by breaking routines. Like, Start doing new things. Sometimes it's meant for you to just cut certain people off who are making you just repeat those toxic cycles. If you're not there at a point where you can just cut those people off completely, maybe it's not meant for you to cut those people off. Maybe they're meant to stay in your life. How can you exercise certain boundaries so that you can become a better version of yourself? Whether that's saying no, or whether that's if you're somebody who just make outbursts or say things, or maybe even stonewall, or whatever the case may be. Maybe before you react, you take a pause, because there's always a pause you can take, and then think before you say something, before you do something, how can you, now that you have awareness of the thing, what can you put in place to make it better? And then once you understand what your core values are, what core values do you want to replace them with? What do you want to rewire your brain to believe? That's all I have for you guys today. Something short, simple, I think straight to the point. Again, I have a link, Plan for Keeps. No, it's speakpipe/planforkeepsapp.com. If you want to leave me a voicemail there, you can. If you want to download our dating app, Plan for Keeps, Dating Done Consciously, download our dating app. When two people match, they have to play a short compatibility game with each other before they can message each other. Download our dating app, support us there. And if, like I said, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. I will be back next week with another episode. And until next time.